And I'm probably live. What is up? Intro music for the Will Studios. Still at 0 viewers. I'm going back through. Hold on. First, the author, creator, writer, and artist. All around great guy of Revenant Steel. Featuring rats and resurrected warriors. So, I posted the first 3 pages on the Twitter the other day. Some of them still have like the format guides or whatever, but whatever. I'm not like completely done with the first 12 pages. I'm doing the whole thing in 12-page batches. The first 12 pages is going to be in the preview edition of Revenant Steel. That's going to be my first crowdfund, my first sort of opportunity to prove that I actually follow through with things. And it'll be great to introduce everyone to the story because I feel like that's when the action really starts, and we have the pages that lay out the plot that happen between 5, 6, 7, right? So it'll be really cool. And because I don't want to just give people a pamphlet, I'm going to have probably an additional 12 pages of supplemental materials, just talking a little bit, exploring about, because this is a fantasy world. This is my own dark fantasy story that I've created. So there's going to be some people that are curious about where the hell are we and what is happening. Like, there's clearly factions, like this dude rolling into town. He belongs to sort of the religious science order of the world. I want to tell people about that. I want to tell people about everything. But I guess not too much. People want to know who this dude is with the really cool spiky bone looking armor. It's made to look like dinosaur bones, like dragon bones or whatever. They're, it looks cool. I came up with that like right away. It's one of those ideas that I was actually like impressed with myself, where it just hit me, where I'm like, how cool would that look when he's fighting? Like if he's standing up, like if he's standing all cool, and those things can like flex around each other if they have the plates. Like I love I'm going to get better at designing the armor. My paladin armor, I need to stop messing with it. It's fine the way it is. Okay. Different paladins can have newer armor. If I come up with a better armor design later on, he can upgrade. Okay. But for now, he looks kind of like a medieval Mandalorian, and that's kind of his character, I guess. He's kind of like a Judge Dredd, but like a science wizard. You'll get it. You'll understand his deal soon enough. Very soon. He's looking for a man. I can't get distracted with my own story. I love my own stuff too much. But let's get rid of that. I was trying to figure out what I agreed to on Goth Night this past Sunday, because I was talking to Michael Ferraro, the creator of Cool It, and let's see if I share that one. Also share tab. Yeah. Audio. Yeah. All right. Cool. But here I was talking about Back Me Bro, and the name has grown on me. Back Me Bro. It was one of those. But once again, my initial reaction was, is it like, does bro sort of evoke too casual a thing, or is it like too, how does it come off? I'm still chewing on it, I guess. But hey, Shane knows what he's doing. Trust in Shane, and I'm definitely going to use it. I think that, ultimately it's your ideas that sell things. But I agreed to do something for Michael, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell it was. They know that it's cool. But I guess it'll just come down to like, okay, when I see people and I get them to back my comic, I can be like, do it on Back Me Bro. And people will be like, what the hell is Back Me Bro? And I'll just be like, well, it's a comic book specific crowdfunding platform. It was started by people who were unhappy with changes to other crowdfunding platforms. I could give them the whole spiel. I'd have to. But I like Fund My Comic too. Like, Fund My Comic tells you exactly what it is right there in the title. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to do a Back Me Bro and a Fund My Comic. Should I split it? I might put it to a vote, maybe, or something. I don't know. I'll see what the incentives, disincentives are, pros and cons for both sides. We'll see. It's like, now we're competing. Is that healthy? It could be healthy. I don't know.
What does it have that's gonna make it like better, or you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I understand with Fun My Comic, like there was a bunch of places that or a bunch of people that had
I think we'll get to it, Gary.
Well, I think that when the hell did I say? Like, if you put yourself in Shane's mind,
rate all of them or something, or
God, if you put yourself in Shane.
Anyway, I got to get drawn. Let me start sharing this screen. Oh yeah. I was gonna address the whole Paul Revauche thing too, because I decided to like come out as Comicsgate on Twitter the other day, which was fun. I've been on Comicsgate streams and talked about my comic book and talked about people, because I'll talk about anybody about my comic book, but I've said it several times out loud to people that I'm coming. It's like, but how close am I to delivering a product? How close am I to being ready to promote my material? I feel like I'm there right now with the plans that I have, and the rate that I'm producing work, right? So, freaking, I decided to make this post because Paul Revauche did this whole tirade, and he's commenting on Eric July being, and I don't give a shit about the dynamics of the deal. They were acquired. Was it a DEI thing? All right. I don't care about the Rippaverse except when they're funny to me. Like, if they're doing, I don't know. I'm not interested. The peak of my interest in the Rippaverse was when the Documan cards were being read out loud, and that shit was hilarious. But yeah, so is it a good deal, a bad deal for the Rippaverse? Does it represent the Rippaverse, finally dying off, or what? Like, July's trying to get whatever money he can out of it and sell the. I don't know. I'll watch and find out. I've been, watching Trashcast till now. Let's finish the story, I guess. But anyway, Revauche. I'll just read. Yes, this is what a true professional in business man who is serious does. focuses diligently on delivering products, serving customers, expanding, avoiding dead ends, mudslinging, etc. Okay. A businessman. All right. Ethan Van Sciver is an artist who produces a comic book. He sells his artwork, you know. His business success, I guess, you know, he's fun to watch on YouTube. People like him. People seem to gather around him and demand his attention. I'm gonna try not to. I really like Ethan Van Sciver personally, but I'm not like gonna be messaging him asking him to like talk about me. Hopefully he just notices me. Maybe I'll draw another Cyber Frog. You know what I mean? And he'll be like, "Isn't that the Revenant Steel guy?" Maybe I will end up messaging him. I don't know. People are calling, saying I'm gonna make anti-CG content in 6 months, which no, I don't have time for that. Like, I have other stories. If people don't like Revenant Steel, okay, I'm going to come out with another story. I got at least 4 shots in my gun. All right, I got at least 4 shots in my pistols. Before I'm like, you know what? I guess maybe I'll draw someone else's ideas if they'll have me. I don't know. I'm trying to make a side gig out of this for now, with dreams of it becoming like huge. That would be awesome. I'd love to just draw for a living. Paul Ravoche is a man who went to college for and did draw for a living, and he worked in the animation industry for a long time. You know, I remember Batman Begins. I think I heard someone say he worked on Batman the animated series, but that's the type of thing where it's like, dude, that's awesome. You know what I mean? But Paul Dini's ideas, you know, Bill Finger, Bob Kane's IP, you know, DC Comics characters. Comicsgate is an environment where if you want to really make it in, you know, from what I've seen, you need to have your own IP, and it helps if you are both writing and drawing your comic book, because then you're not paying anybody else. You're not waiting on anybody else. Me personally, I don't want to color this thing. Okay. If it comes down to it and there's a big enough demand, I will finish teaching myself how to color. I kind of know how to color. I have colored a couple of things, but I don't want to. I'd rather pay. I've messaged one individual trying to sort of suss out what it would be like to hire a colorist. And so I have to chew on that for a minute. But I feel like Revenant Steel works as a black and white comic book, frankly. I think it works very well as such. And the preview comic book, the first 12 pages thing that I send out is going to be black and white. And that's hopefully going to help on printing cost or whatever. If only 20 people buy this preview comic that I produce, I'll you know, I guess I'm just sending out 20 copies to be like, it's going to happen. I'm going to print it. I'm probably, because there's got to be a number that you have to hit. So like I might have to buy like 200 copies of this thing to make it to where it's only like $3 a copy or something. And so I'll just be a guy with boxes of comic books sitting behind me for the rest of my live stream. I'll literally have a live, right here will be the remaining comic books just ready to go out. Like, please buy my book. But I don't foresee that. I think my shit looks really cool. People tell me it looks cool, so hopefully this all works out for the best. But Paul Ravoche came in trying to, you know, I guess he felt like he was lending some credibility to the whole thing. But he, to my knowledge, didn't have any of his own ideas. So I see this him lashing out about the whole thing. And I felt like I had to say something about it. So I made my post, and maybe I should have proofread it or something, but I felt like I made my point. Where I'm like, I'm new to Comicsgate, I'm creating my first comic book. In order to be in Comicsgate, you just say you're in Comicsgate, right? And that makes it not, how is that a company? The way Paul Ravoche talked about it, it's like you cannot compare Ripaverse to Comicsgate. Ripaverse is a company. Eric July, like you said, is a businessman who started a comic book company. And if this was his goal, awesome for Eric. You know what I mean? I've always thought that, the success or failure of the Ripaverse is all up to Eric. It doesn't have much to do with the people that hate the comic books, or whatever. I read ISOM 1. I didn't read anything else. Good luck was basically my attitude about the whole thing. And so he came out with a bunch of stuff. The only time I ever clashed with Eric July's followers was when I called out the octopus hands in that Horseman drawing, and I said they might have been AI, and then I had Enlightened Fan come at me for a day, and that was fun, but I didn't really care enough to say much after that, because I didn't want it to be part of my brand, I almost think it's assumed that if you're part of Comicsgate that you hate the Ripaverse. Hate's a strong word for how I feel about the Ripaverse. But anyway, Trashcast has been hilarious once again. But anyway, I just say, I feel like I can bring value, and I do. I feel like there's a comic book buying audience that likes the Comicsgate content that comes out. I only showed up in 2023 after the Ripaverse. I'm not like an OG dude who's been here since 2018. So, I just like these guys, but I'm here to tell a story. I'm here because I have stories to tell, and and prove to everyone that I am a genius. Some people take umbrage with the fact that I just say that sort of thing, but whatever. Why are you making a comic book if you don't think that? Is my question. I am fully aware, blah, 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 that I could have done something in the mainstream. People don't like that I said that either, and I'm not going to be the guy who's like, oh, I'm friends with this many people who work or have worked previously or have connection, because I some people have said, and I'm like, hey, how do you feel about Comicsgate? And most people are like, what are you talking about, Comicsgate? And I'm like, Ethan Van Sciver. And they're like, what? He hates women. I'm like, what do you mean he hates? Because I was fairly ignorant of most of this stuff. I found out about his cancellation through Trashcast because I was on to manga by 2012. As far as reading comic books goes. But where was I? Yeah, the whole thing about going to the mainstream. Like, people know I can draw, and I've had offers for them to guide me through the process of how to actually pitch my idea, But I see that, and the picture that gets painted about working in the mainstream, where if you want to make it anywhere or make anything of yourself, you got to like put up with an environment where lefties are just open to say whatever they want. Because I experienced that already at the work that I'm at, but it's not that bad because I kind of, I pick who I work, I can pick which. I work in the food service industry. I can pick which establishment, I can sort of vet my prospects and decide where I fit in, the people I work with are not, they can be a little loose during certain times about politics, but I don't have to put up with it constantly. And I feel like if I'm in the business of making comic books and I'm dealing with these people who would be the people in Whisper Networks against Ethan, who I've been a fan of Ethan since Green Lantern. Damn, I should have brought more water. I'm just not a fan of it. I see an opportunity to work for myself here as being a part of Comicsgate, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Put up with people I hate, no interest in, and I have no interest in drawing other people's ideas. I don't think I could draw Batman necessarily better than the people they got drawing Batman. Okay. I think I draw the best I can for a guy who gave up art during his 20s, which is where I really would have grown into the artist I could have been, sharpening the sword at 30, has been a process, especially, doing it in my spare time and not being one of these dudes that like committed his existence to it. Like, so, like I said, people like Paul Ravoche who went into the animation industry, people like, some of my friends who, just grind it out. And these are people who I taught them how to draw feet in high school, but, they put in the hours and the effort and get hired at places like Disney and Pixar and stuff like that. And then they tell me horror stories later on. And then they all get replaced by AI and are now looking for other types of work, so who knows? In this economy, it's fucking crazy. So hopefully I scrape something out of promoting my comic book. And CG gives a new creator an opportunity too to go on people's shows, pitch their ideas, talk to cool people. It's a fun time. I've had a lot of fun. Catch me on CG Goth Nights, not this Sunday, but most Sundays on CG Goth Nights on Dr. Ben's channel. But yeah, so I mentioned his I scroll his feed and it's a mix of repost artwork and Ethan memes. Yeah, he's just it's crazy the path that Paul Ravoche took. If you look at Paul Ravoche's journey, because he rose up in the animation industry, he worked on some very popular properties, and then something happened, and I don't know, something, Ethan mentioned a divorce or something. I know he's like 60, right? And he shows up in Comicsgate and then goes away. I'm trying to remember if I ever really heard him say much maybe I don't watch every stream. But Paul Ravoche was fairly forgettable. And he didn't have, like I said, you got to be a different animal. Okay? You're not the right kind of animal, Paul. All right? You're not the right kind of beast for this course. All right? Hopefully I am. We'll see. But yeah, like he's talking about all these, and look, there's plenty of people that have been associated with Comicsgate that have failed to deliver or you know, had some massive crash out over not being able to find a reliable colorist or whatever the fuck happened with Dragon Rage and become a Christian, you know, or, you know, what else does he say regarding his numerous downsides? Non-delivery. Yeah, so Ethan's taken however many years to deliver on Rainbow the Brute and Cyber Frog 3. Yeah, I guess Fraga was part of Comicsgate before he disappeared, and he was promising Black Flag, and now he's gone for I guess he's like 6 years behind. And is that Perdomo guy that was talking to me? Because this, you know, I don't blow up over posts because I'm a pretty boring dude. But this one actually got some fun replies. Oh, you know, I gotta love Grey Cloud. I thought this was a hater at first. Because immediately I get people to be like, you want to gargle Ethan's balls, don't you? You want to feel his balls in your mouth. Let me tell you what it's going to feel like when he puts his balls in your mouth. Phoenix seems like a cool dude. He's not into labels, and that's cool. He has what was it called? Joe Sontag just did a cover for his comic book. Go check out Phoenix Press. Hold on a second. Let me check out Phoenix Press. Presents. I just want to see the cover. Where is it? How far am I scrolling down? There we go. Screecher. Screech. Into action. Oh, I guess I'm only sharing the tab, not the window. But anywho, Screecher, which I'm assuming she has owl ability. You know, her eyes are glowing. I think she probably glows or can see in the dark. She probably has really good eyes. Maybe I'll talk to him sometime. I need to start my own show and talk to people about what they're creating, and try to raise my stonks, you know, because I made the comment to somebody where it's like when I deliver something, my stonks will raise, you know, and then I'll be able to make more money. This is something you build. As I build trust with the audience, then my stonks will rise. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, like Perdomo, I'm pretty sure because he's like Ethan and Skyver owns the copyright, and it's like blah blah blah. I don't want to get into this because I don't know this dude. I'm pretty sure though he's the dude who was writing Black Flag. Like, so it'd be hilarious to me if indeed some dude who was 6 years late on his book is coming in and, you know, he feels the need to talk shit about EVS whenever EVS is mentioned. Wherever there is a mention of EVS, you will find William Perdomo. Blah, blah, blah. There's good old Enlightened Fan. I know what it's like to, you know, freaking, he's like retarded quicksand. Autistic. Should I not say the R word? Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada. Oh, Knife School showed up. Good old Puppet Man. What movement? No movement whatsoever. Lefty, yada, yada. Am I fighting? You know, I guess I would be fighting them by not, by coming here instead of going through the rigmarole that they got set up or whatever and putting up with them. Yada, yada, yada. Some people I don't bother. Most of these people I don't bother getting into it with them because it just seems like a waste of my fucking time. But yeah, man. Can I even see the chat? Nah, I guess no one's chatting at all. Announce yourself, viewer. Anyway. The purpose of this stream was to draw something before I started getting into all that. So anywho, I was working out this page of Revenant Steel, where these guys are exiting this establishment, and they're getting ready to fight some dudes who just woke up from the dead. Here's a quick preview of what's going on so far for my one viewer. So Perry walks into town. I'm just gonna breeze through this. He walks through past a pile of bodies, very concerned about this rat. You know, here they make eye contact. The rats are very important to the story. Let me scroll over you. Hate it when my tablet does this. But he shows up at this bar, and he's got to get these guys to fight. God damn it. Fucking iPad. Forgets how to work. Anyway, the dude's getting into this bar, and he's got to figure out how to get these guys to round up and kill these zombies that are going to show up and start attacking things. Now, these are not your typical zombies, okay? These are Revenant Steel zombies. They were brought back by a sword that is demonically derived. So they're all waking up. And if they act quick enough and kill them properly, okay, we can take care of this. But they're running out of time here, okay? I'm working through this scene, right? Because this happens at the gate. And then this dude is going to stab this dude. And it's supposed to show that they cannot be killed by traditional means. Like, this dude was not part of the conversation that the other guy had with the dudes at the bar, right? So now we have them exiting. And the first way I thought how to do this was a very straight on angle with these guys coming out, right? And some of the feedback I got, you know, how do I play with the angles and how do I make this read better, right? And I'm chewing on that. And then I'm like, but I could just draw a lady instead. Because I'm going to draw something for Michael Ferraro from his property, Cool It, pretty soon. This was another one of my characters that I was drawing not too long ago from another unannounced project, you know. Should Revenant Steel fail? But I know that whatever I draw for my... He said it was going to be like a page marker, like maybe a bookmark sort of thing. So it would be like what? Like that? Those dimensions? if I'm drawing a bookmark, I know the gist of his story. I haven't read it or anything. I know some of the characters. I know I'm going to end up drawing one of the ladies, but it's a bookmark. So maybe like one of them can be standing here for like a good ass shot, right? Put that in there. And then she'll have like a tough fighting pose. Sexy shoulder over the thing vibe, right? And then I would want to see her feet too. You know what I'm saying? And then over here, in this space, I could draw it would have to be someone in another fighting stance, you know? Or maybe because they do magic. I'll talk to them about like what kind of stances do they do for their magic. So how about for now, I'll just lay out some possibilities, you know, until I have my conversation with him. And I do need to actually figure out what it is I agreed to, because I told him to like pay me $20 and I'll draw whatever it is like that you're doing, for because he's got other artists working for him. And I don't want to be the guy that talks shit or anything, but maybe I could just be like, hey, pay me or something, you know. But I've never really put myself out there for commissions because I'm very selfish and I draw for me, you know. So I don't really know what to charge or whatever. But anywho, and I think I lowered it to like 1467. I was really high and drunk, so. But I want to honor my commitments. I want to be a man of my word, okay? And Michael's a cool guy. But yeah, man, it was fun. It was a fun day having Ethan's haters come out, and I blocked 2 of them. There was one dude, because at first I was going to interact with all of them because I didn't expect too many of them to show up. So I went with William Perdomo, and he's like, they're going to make you suck his balls. And I'm like, yeah, then what are they going to do? And he's like, and then they're going to do this and this to you. And I'm like, yeah, then what? And he's like, and then they're going to do this and they're going to do this. And you got their ball juices in your mouth. And I'm like, oh my God, their ball juices are in my mouth, you know? And I'm like, when do I get to come? And he's like, you know, you're gay. Look at this dude, he's gay. I'm like, okay. See ya, I guess. I don't get to come in your fantasies, all right? I don't even know if Ethan and John came in the story that he told, you know? It was kind of a, does he tell good stories? Does he wrap up what he finishes? I don't know. Let me tell you something. If I start concocting an erotic fiction about, you know, some of my the creators that I'm infatuated with, you know, forcing young men to gargle their balls, I'm going to finish what I start. All right. What else? But anywho, this girl needs Because obviously I want to have a shot that focuses on like her tits, right? I don't know. I don't know about that stance. Ooh, maybe if she has like a Mike Tyson stance, you know, if she's putting her fists up. She's putting her fists up like that, and that way. That. Or would I like bring her elbows in? You know. And then put like one foot in front of the other. Like maybe even have her lean down a little bit. You know? That could be cool. That way you get the fist from two different angles. And I feel like that looks better. And we get a nice cleavage shot. Yay, we made it. We did it. So, or should she be punching? She could be punching too for this one. Like, but then if she's got her foot forward, she'd be punching there. It's kind of like if she's punching from there, then her hip would be different. Well, yeah. I can't do that. I'm not doing that. She's got her guard up right now for this one. I'll do another one where she's punching. Or she would be punching if she's in that, if she's got her foot like that. Because so really, if I want to have her punch, I really just got to drop this knee below that one and have her like stepping in. You know what I mean? Or like bring this knee up, have her step in a little more, and then that would make more sense for a punch, I think. And because at that point, Sternum stretches that way, so am I? Wouldn't it be sad if I just F this up? For my 0 viewers, it's Sunday morning in Comicsgate with William. He's drawing female forms. That looks good enough, I think. For now. I'll keep mulling that over. I'm just doing like little mannequins, you know. Getting the general gist of what I would want, you know, because I would definitely want to see something nice and toned there. People can see this and be like, dude, this dude studied butts. This is a man of culture, okay, who has come into our space, who has announced, I am a Comicsgate affiliated creator and I am a genius, okay? And this is how I display it to you. I draw butts. And I expect at least 5 people to watch this when it's not live. Trying to imagine, like, where's that lower back really? You know what I mean? Like, where's that? What do we see in here? I'm sort of thinking, because what other poses should I be thinking about here? Should I do one of them like being punched? Maybe the postcard can be like a first person perspective thing of someone. I draw a girl with a messed up nose, you know? Let me see. Yeah. And I can have like tears coming out of her eyes, you know? That would be cool to do like a bloody nose edition, because it's easy to do pinups, you know? It's easy to do pinups. Could I like draw a girl getting ugly? Could I draw a girl that just got punched in the face? Might have to go watch some like UFC fights or whatever and see. See what I can find here. I would want that to be like way closer to the fist, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, ugh. Like, where'd she get punched? The nose, right? I could draw some like swelling on the lip or whatever. She's just getting annihilated. It would be nice should she be having fun despite getting punched in the face, and having a bloody nose and having tears in her eyes. Should the tears be that dramatic? Maybe just a few tears. I don't know. Sweat. What kind of hair would she have? Who is this person? Who are you even drawing, Will? So that's like an idea, you know, for like maybe for her hair getting like messed up from it or whatever. But then the only opportunity for cake would be like in the periffs, you know. She would have to be like falling backwards a little bit, right? Neck was way too long. Make a hot girl getting punched in the face. That's a good idea. I don't know. I'm still working on it. Maybe getting kicked in the head. That'd be kind of cool. Because then I could draw feet, which is nice. Like if I drew... Or I could do like a mutual exchange between two of them. If I understood their fighting styles, or we'll see. We'll see what Michael says to me. We're closing in on an hour. Sorry I spent the first 30 minutes of it talking about the Twitter nonsense. You know, the whole Comicsgate journey is just beginning for me. You know? Soon I'm going to launch the campaign for the preview edition. All right? We're going to see how many people I can get to trust me, trust and believe in the will to deliver. And we'll grow from there, you know? I think everyone's going to come around. You know, even the sourpuss Will Perdomo types. I guess CJ or whoever that one dude is never going to come around because I already blocked him. I blocked him and I blocked some dude who came around and posted like a picture. It was like a photoshopped image of Ethan Van Sciver naked pissing on a cot. I was kind of like, I don't need this guy around, you know? Like, do I want my comment section filled with naked pictures of Ethan? No. CJ was like telling me my book looked like shit, and it's like, dude, you've clearly not looked at it, okay? You wouldn't be saying that. And I am able to look at, like, if you've made it, you know. I can't remember if CJ had made anything, but goddamn, dude, I'm looking at his friends at least, and I'm not sensing much competition from them, to be honest. I don't feel threatened by these people, you know. I think the whole thing's kind of funny, ultimately. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut it short. Thanks to the 3 people that popped in and out earlier and heard moments of my voice before running away. And yeah, we'll see what I cook up for Cool It. And you will see eventually what I cook up for Revenant Steel. Take care.